maybe in his 60s, maybe early 70s. He was an older gentleman. The white paper that he gave me was about 40 pages in length, and it had a lot of graphs and diagrams, and kind of like scientific, evidence of what he was trying to pursue there. But what I did is I sent it to a friend of mine who is a MIT graduate, and he is an engineer physicist himself. And so I thought maybe this person could give me some input on, the seriousness of this white paper and whether it was had anything, worthwhile pursuing with maybe other people studying it. He came back with the analysis that there's not enough meat in there for a scientist like himself to either prove or disprove some of the allegations in this white paper. So he said he would only be able to determine the efficacy of the formulas and the propulsion systems that he is proposing if he was able to talk with him in person, or at least get more information about some of the general terms and dynamics that he is outlining in this paper. But he was very serious when he dropped the paper off. He asked for me by name, so obviously he knew who I was, not just the UFOI team. Maybe he thought that a lawyer interested in this field was someone that could, come across, with this material to others. But what I have done is I have created for various whistleblowers out there what I've called a disclosure trust. And I am going to include this white paper in a disclosure trust that will be kind of disclosed later on when I get permission from this fellow to be able to publish it to the general public, to see if there's any other people that can review it and give us some input. Because I figure there's got to be a lot of people out there just like him who want to maybe get some of the truth that they know out there, but they don't necessarily want to do it during their lifetime, potentially. They don't want to put their family in jeopardy, but upon their passing or their family's passing, then this disclosure trust would do that for them, and kind of make sure that this information got out. So it's just another thing that I've always been interested in as an attorney, and being an estate planning attorney, among other things, for the last 30 years.
Now, I got to ask you a question. Now, did he have his pants and belt up to his breast, and was he wearing a tie with a whole bunch of flowers or something on it?
Yeah. No, he was not looking like the traditional nerd that you would think would have this kind of documentation. He kind of looked like he could very easily have been retired Boeing engineer, let's say, just kind of for coming up with an idea of what he would look like. He didn't have long frizzy hair. He did have white hair. Was very, wasn't colored at all, and so he was probably, like I said, in his late 60s, early 70s. But he didn't have a tie on at all. He just had casual shirt and traditional pants, and no suit coat or anything like that.
So he wasn't a nerd, what you're saying?
No, he didn't look to be. No.
Now, did he talk?
He didn't.
Did he talk much to you, or did he just basically say, "Here, Michael, I want you to look at this"? And did he take off? And did he hear, his tires burn rubber on his way out? I mean, did he get out of there really fast and boogie out?
That was that was the very strange thing, because I had my back turned to him as he came in the door, and I could see people's eyes across the table seeing him come my way. And he just walked right up to me. He didn't even ask who Michael Hall was. He just knew who I was, supposedly. Walked right up to the back of myself and put this white manila envelope in front of me and says, Michael Hall. And that's all he said was my name. And I said yes, and took the envelope. It's just standard thing what you do if you're an attorney being served, for a client's, case or whatever. You just accept the material. It's just standard. And basically, I didn't even. I wanted, I think, well, should I look at it now? It's probably a process, or should I just set it aside?
Oh, come on! You're a lawyer. You're gonna look at it right away. You couldn't resist opening that envelope.
That's exactly what happened. I couldn't resist, just in case it was something unique. And sure enough, I opened the thing up, and on the front of the page, it says something about the propulsion system of unidentified flying saucers, and I'm going, oh my God!
I bet you stuttered talking to the rest of your group after that for a couple of minutes, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I passed this thing around because we do have retired Boeing engineers in the group. We have, master's level and PhDs in our group, so I passed that around really quickly. But when I turned to try to, get some more information from the gentleman, he had already left. He didn't even say a word, dropped it off, turned around, and he just walked out of the restaurant. And I guess I could have, got up and chased him out of the restaurant, but I was too interested in taking a look at the white paper and kind of sharing that with the group. And by the way, I was assuming that he was probably going to follow up with me, and contact me and ask me what I thought, that kind of thing. I've never had any follow-up contact from the gentleman.
Well, you know what,
period of time,
Michael, if he was, one of these people just trying to get famous by handing you some crap in an envelope, right? He would be, talking to you. He would try, to get involved with you for a while to get kind of famous. That's what some of those people do. Just to drop it off and totally disappear, makes me really think it probably is legit.
Yes. There was a couple of clues in the document itself to try to pinpoint who the drafter of the document was. Now, I am assuming it was the gentleman who dropped it off, although it doesn't have to be the same guy. Could be this gentleman was dropping it off for someone else. But when I pieced together some clues in the document, the person that popped up in my internet research was indeed a physicist. I couldn't quite figure out if he was retired or not, but this was a physicist in, I believe he was in the state of Washington. So just a fascinating case. And I have kind of not put it on the back burner, but I always have in the back of my mind that I want to pursue the details of this to see if, now that the Bob Lazar film is coming out, the whole idea of, the element 15 and the propulsion system, if anybody knows anything about what this kind of paper would show, maybe there's some correlation to what Bob Lazar was talking about.
Well, we'll soon find that out, won't we?
Yeah.
I'll ask him that one day.
Good for you.
But now,
wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I think so. Now, I got to ask you a question. Where are you planning to take the UFO I-Team? I mean, what's your goal with it?
Well, our goal, of course, is to help the general public become aware of what really is going on now and prepare them for what we believe is coming down the road very quickly in the future.
Okay, what is coming down the road? Are there going to be aliens coming to suck our brains out or make hamburger patties out of us? Or are they here to help us with their orbs? What do you feel is going to happen here?
Yeah. Well, I believe that there's not an easy answer to that question because obviously there's a lot of different kind of human beings on this planet. There's some good ones and there's some bad ones. There's some people with motivation that might not get along with others, that kind of thing. I would assume there are various alien races doing the same kind of thing out there in the big universe galaxy in our neck of the woods even. So the only kind of thing that I point at when I'm thinking about this whole thing idea is that, you know, if, for instance, an alien race or an off-planet civilization wanted to get rid of us for the resources of the planet or whatever they wanted, I don't think they would have waited until we've developed the nuclear weapons that we've got or the nuclear capability of Star Wars and all those kinds of things. I think they would have taken us out generations, decades, millennia ago if they were wanting to do that. So I don't think that that's the agenda. But of course, given that fact, we do have, the abductions going on of human beings by certain races
missing
for
people,
whatever purposes, whether it's hybrid kind of a program or just research, we don't know. There are indeed, like you pointed out many times, even human mutilation cases, like the cattle mutilations as well. So it's a lot of mixed messages out there.
Well,
I think whatever
makes me feel like if they're here and they're fuzzy and warm, why would they abduct somebody out of their car or out of their bed when they're sleeping at night, take them up in a spaceship, check them all out, put an implant on them, and then dump them back in their bed or outside their car in one case, and in freezing weather, they didn't bother to put them back into the car. But I mean, is that a friendly alien? I don't think so. I mean, they're taking you without your permission. They're taking you without you wanting to go with them. So I mean, that's what I mean. People, yeah. I get appalled when I hear people say that aliens are here, the Greys are here, okay, to protect us. When I hear actually more bad things about the Greys than any of them, and that's what scares me. I mean, like I was mentioning, to you off air, I was talking to another radio host, there's a lot of people out there, right, who claim they're an investigative reporter, and they're over on Facebook and Twitter and all these other things, right? They're writing articles of stuff they don't know anything about, or they're stealing other people's articles and changing the wording and putting their name on it. And that is doing so much damage to, what's going on about the paranormal or UFOs. So I don't know. I just have a funny feeling, they could have wiped us out a long time ago, but maybe they're waiting for us to do it. Maybe we're nothing more than a subject, watching to see how long we take ourselves out before we do.
Yeah, it's possible. And your assessment of the Greys, I think, is pretty much right on there. I don't believe that those entities have, a lot of feelings at all. They might not even have a soul, and they might be just doing the bidding for other races, to get this information about the human race itself for their own purposes. So when it comes to that kind of thing, the abductions thing, it just doesn't make any sense. And you would think also that after a few years of doing this abduction kind of thing on humans, studying them, that they would know what they needed to know by then and not just keep it ongoing like it has been, throughout the generations in reality.
Well, maybe time, as we look at time, is different to them. So, like a day, an hour, a minute to us could be, who knows to them. And again, maybe they have some other motive, what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to reprogram our DNA and change us. I don't know. That's what scares me. So now we got this going on here, and our time's almost up. Where do you see the UFO I-Team in a year from now? What is your plans and what is your goals?
Well, one of our goals has always been to put together a popular but scientifically sound, a television series that would be a reality TV show, something similar to maybe Finding Bigfoot. But, the whole idea of Finding Bigfoot was so interesting. They sold that series on the idea they were going to go out looking for Bigfoot, probably knowing that they're not really going to ever find it. But we can go out pretty much any night of the week with our sophisticated gear, camera equipment, our stop-action photography, our night vision, and everything. And we can come up with video evidence of things that are going along in the night sky or even the daytime sky nowadays on a regular basis. So I would assume that our idea for a reality TV show would be quite popular. And the idea being that we would want to do that because we need to get people up to speed very quickly.